Welcome everybody to a very spooky episode of All About Movies. I'm your host, Evan, and I have the scariest thing of all, a film degree.
Ooh.
But my academic mistakes qualify me to talk to you fine folks about movies. Joining me today is frequent guest Alix, who still seems to think that her cinema degree is going to be more treat than trick.
That's true. I'm holding out hope, hoping that once I get to graduation day, I'll reach into that bag and pull out a Hershey's bar. Not an apple with a needle in it.
Ooh, dark. Went dark. Alright, this episode will be dropping October 1st, marking the start of white women getting all things pumpkin spice, and
Hell
movie
yeah.
fans everywhere watching scary movies. Now, I'd say both of us consider ourselves to be horror fans, yeah?
Yeah.
But this episode isn't really about our favorite horror films.
No.
Instead, it's kind of about films that we try to see every time the leaves change and pumpkin patches pop up. Our freaky fall favorites.
Freaky fall favorites.
Yeah. So since that is a very vague prompt, how'd you interpret that for making your We're doing top 10 lists?
So, I kind of found myself going back to the, that thing ABC Family used to do, where they used to do the countdown to Halloween.
Was it like 13 nights?
Yeah, 13 Nights of Halloween. And just trying to remember what movies I watched when that was on. As well as kind of try to think about what movies kind of get me in the mood for Halloween even now. So I kind of played it a little nostalgically, but it's not like these are all movies I haven't seen in like a decade, which is terrifying. I've been alive 2 decades. Good God.
You're so old.
I feel really old. I feel super duper old. I refer to ABC Family as ABC Family. That makes me old.
Well,
How did you approach this?
the way I kind of structured it is, since I watch a lot of scary movies throughout the year, Halloween's not always just like scary movies for me. I kind of think of it kind of the line between spooky over scary. Kind of like how there's more a thread of fun going through most of my picks.
Yeah, I found that in mine too.
Yeah, it's kind of like lighthearted, generally. There are things that probably are a little more scary than spooky, but kind of trying to tip that little meter right on over to Spooky Town.
Right on over to Spoopy Town.
That's right. So, without further ado, we're counting down from 10 to 1, our spookiest, fall-timiest movies.
Alright.
You want to give us your number 10 spot?
Yeah, so my number 10 is probably the one that's here mostly out of nostalgia, if not purely out of nostalgia. And it is Halloween Town.
Interesting. Not surprising for someone in her early 20s to throw Halloween Town on there.
Hell yeah. I was alive for that movie. It was like a cornerstone of my childhood. It was on every single Halloween. All the movies as they came out were on every single Halloween. But like just the first one is just really pure to me. And it's got all the stuff I look for in really good Halloween films. It's got witches, it's got spooky magic, it's got teen drama. It's a perfect mishmash. It makes you feel like Halloween.
You know, I think really any of the October released Disney Channel original movies, DComs, if you will, probably would fit this prompt. I haven't seen most of them in probably well over a decade.
Have you seen The Little Vampire?
Not in forever.
These movies have
nowhere to watch them. If Disney doesn't put all these things out when they start their streaming service, I don't know anyone who will get the streaming service.
Yeah.
They've got these movies. They can put them out.
Exactly.
They own them. They're just keeping it in that vault.
Yeah. And now I can't watch Halloween Town every Halloween.
Well, see, that's one of the few that actually makes it to DVD shelves.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to start searching for that. My Halloweens have been lesser because of the missing Halloween Town.
You're probably not going to get, like, Halloween Town 5? How far?
I think it at least went to 4.
You're probably not gonna get like the last few, but
Right.
you'll get the first 2. I'm sure.
The first 1 or 2, yeah. But yeah, I love Halloween Town. It's just great. It's a great feel good fun movie.
For those who don't know, maybe give a little description of this movie. I'm sure a lot of people know it, but anyone over like 23 might be like, "What is this?" Or anyone under 20 will be like, "What is this?"
Yeah, sure. So Halloween Town is a 1998 family film.
I was 3.
You were 3. I was 2.
Ooh-wee.
Ooh-wee. Here I go growing again. But Halloween Town. So on Marnie's 13th birthday, she finds out she is a witch and that she and her family are involved in a fight against the evil that is threatening to take over the world. The name of the film coming from the town their grandmother takes them to called Halloween Town, which is populated by witches and monsters galore. And so basically this young woman on the precipice of young adulthood is thrown into this magical, mystical world and has responsibility thrust upon her shoulders, but with a lot of, like, fun visuals, a lot of jokes and laughs, but also some pretty high stakes, as the world is, gonna be taken over by evil.
That's fair. You're gonna have that.
Yeah, I guess, when you're dealing with magic and witches and Halloween.
You gotta have those adolescent metaphors. The body's changing, it makes magic, it's different.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's Halloween Town. Good movie. Fits in with the nice, YA genre. Has a good...
More spooky than scary.
More spooky than scary, definitely. Yeah, an overall good romp. What is your number 10?
So my number 10 it's a bit of an odd pick. It's Reanimator.
Oh.
This movie is not very autumn themed at all. But it's a very fun horror movie.
Yep.
It's based on one of H.P. Lovecraft's more lighthearted stories. And this one kind of leans into that humor. And it's really cool because it starts the pairing of Lovecraft and director Stuart Gordon.
Oh.
And, you haven't seen this, right?
No, I haven't.
So, basically, it follows mainly this young med student who starts sharing an apartment with Herbert West, the aforementioned Reanimator.
Oh.
Who's trying to make basically a Frankenstein serum trying to bring dead people back to life.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and it works out mostly.
Oh, cool.
Kind of. And they're not good life. But, they're alive now.
All right.
And it's just a good time. Some of the best parts being the main actor Jeffrey Combs, who's playing Herbert West, having to fight a reanimated cat, eventually throwing it into a fridge.
All right.
Somebody who gets his head cut off being brought back to life, both in body and the head, but not together.
All right.
Yeah, it's just a goofy kind of fun time.
Nice. That sounds like a good pick.
Yeah, it felt more spooky than scary to me. I don't know.
It sounds scary, but not having seen it, I guess I don't know.
It kind of plays into the fun a bit.
All right.
Which the short story, which I've read, is a little more fun than his usual stories.
Really?
Takes place during World War I, and he's just out there. He ends up going off to war to be a doctor there instead, and just all over the war, just bringing people back to life on the field instead, because he's like, all right, let me test this out.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
And that's not how the movie goes. The movie...
Oh no, it
domesticates
updates
it
to the present day, the 80s.
The 80s. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's my pick.
All right. You want to hear my number 9?
Heck yeah.
So, my number 9 is Halloween.
What?
What?
How is this so low? It's got Halloween in it.
So,
Halloween season. Halloween.
I prefaced this with the fact that, like, nostalgia played a huge part in my decisions. So things that are, like, higher up on the list are things that I've just watched on more Halloweens. This one, I didn't watch Halloween till I was maybe 14 or 15. And I watched it in, like, probably the weirdest, spookiest way possible. Just, like, on my little smartphone in my room at 3 a.m, watching, like, a YouTube, like, rip of Halloween. Just curled up in a corner watching it. But it's good. It's great.
Probably what, like, probably 240 pixels? Yeah, 240p.
Ooh, it was at least 360.
Ooh.
It was at least 360.
Oh, boy.
Ooh. All those pixels. But yeah, classic film, obviously.
It's my favorite out of the 80s slasher things.
Yeah, it is really solid. I really appreciate it as a movie, separate from its connection to Halloween and this season. But it's a good film to put on during Halloween. It fits. Yeah, I guess that's really all I have to say. It's a classic. It feels right. It was one of my first introductions to horror movies. And yeah, it's good stuff.
I did say 80s slasher, but that's just kind of a group term. It came out in 78.
It did come out in 78.
I don't want all of our viewers or listeners just flooding in with people being like, actually, 1978, Evan. But yeah. Yeah, you got some pumpkins out there. They just dumped a bunch of leaves in the streets of California. You've got palm trees in the background. It's very, very Midwest Halloween time.
Yeah, exactly.
All the palm trees and loose leaves you could need.
Reminds me of home.
Yeah. So, going over to my number 9.
Ooh.
This one, it feels a little like cheating. It's Clue. Clue the movie.
I hate you so much. How dare you?
It's not really scary.
No.
But, it just feels right to me.
It feels like a haunted house kind of deal?
Yeah, kind of. Like,
okay.
The mystery, the murder, the fun. It's kind of chilly outside. Wind's blowing. They're all wearing jackets when they're outside.
Oh, wearing jackets. They're dressed appropriately for the weather, as their mother would appreciate.
Yeah, it's fall, probably.
Oh my god.
But it's a very fun time. And recently I saw someone online being like, I watch this every year in October. I don't know if it counts as a scary movie. It's not, but it feels right.
So, in case there's anyone out there who hasn't really had the pleasure of seeing Clue, the movie, could you enlighten these listeners?
So, Clue is probably the best film based on a board game.
I thought you were just going to stop at probably the best film.
No, sorry to disappoint Battleship fans out there, but I think Clue is probably the best movie from board game adaptation that's been done.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of people end up in a house. They don't know each other.
Better than Jumanji?
Jumanji's not a real board game.
It is now.
That's a board game from a movie. I think we're looking at Battleship is the only other one I can think of until someone comes out with Hungry Hungry Hippos, the movie.
Maybe you're right.
Don't get any ideas, Michael Bay.
Don't you get any ideas. Oh god, I can see it now.
Right?
People launching themselves into the water in like white-colored pods only to be like eaten by the giant hippos created by science.
Yeah, it practically writes itself.
Oof.
But Clue, better than that. A bunch of people end up in a house. A body shows up. They're like, whoa, somebody murdered somebody. I don't know. Let's go find out who murdered this guy. Look at all these weird weapons. There's a rope. There's a revolver. There's a lead pipe.
There's a
Who murdered this guy where?
Yeah.
And that's the movie.
Bunch of sassy characters.
Yeah, you got several alternate endings that originally, when it was in theaters, they just kind of sent a random ending off with a print of the movie.
That's awful.
But now you can have it on home video. Originally,
digital video disc.
Yeah, originally when they had their VHS release, they put all the endings in there with little intertitles being like, here's how it could have happened. And then they're like, or it could have happened this way.
I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm really freaked out by, like, title cards in films. Like, they're just very ominous to me.
You just freak out watching silent films? Can you not handle it?
It's not even that. It's just, like, when a title card comes up before, like, a TV episode or, like, a movie, and it's not, like, purely informational. It's very, like, meta and very much outside of the world of the movie. I get very freaked out by it. So I would have been terrified by the VHS version of Clue where it's like, it could have happened like this. And I'm like, oh, cool. This is, like, how the movie could have ended. Great. And then it's like, or it could have happened like this. And I would have peed.
That's the version I prefer to watch on
boy.
on my digital video disc at home.
You're a braver man than I.
Or on the digital video disc, they can pick a random ending for you, which also sounds like a good time.
That's too wild.
Right? But great movie. You got Tim Curry. You've got Christopher Lloyd. You've got Madeline Kahn. You've got, oh gosh. You got
golly.
all kinds of people.
All kinds of people. Every
kinds of people.
Everyone's
Crazy.
in it.
Martin Mull. That's the big one I couldn't
okay,
remember. He's
right.
Colonel Mustard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all you need. Martin Mull's Colonel Mustard. Go watch it.
That's it. Beautiful movie. So this next one I know you're going to be really mad about. Because it's not at all a Halloween movie. It's not a spooky movie, really.
I just had
it's
Clue,
not a scary
so
movie.
I don't know if I get to talk.
Well, my number 8 is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
I'm going to throw this microphone right now.
So, I want to bring you back to the comment I made about the countdown to Halloween.
Here's especially what makes me mad, because ABC Family would play all these Harry Potter films during their 25 Days of Christmas, because there's one little Christmas scene in it.
Yeah.
There's no Halloween scenes in it,
but,
mind you.
They would play them during Halloween. And so, by association, those first 2 films especially have a very strong association with Halloween for me.
I must have skipped those and the 13 nights.
They came up. I know they came up. But no, the Chamber of Secrets is just really creepy to me because it's just jam-packed with...
Is that the one that's got the snake?
It does have the snake, the basilisk, in the basement.
And it doesn't have the troll? Or it also has the troll?
No, the first one has the troll.
And this isn't the first one?
No, this is not the first one.
Oh, golly.
Oh, geez. Evan's lost.
I don't know anymore.
But no, it has some of the things you associate with Halloween. It's got witches and wizards, it's got magic, it's got this other world that exists just outside of what we think is the normal world. It's jam-packed with monsters and mystery, and it's very foreboding at times. It's very ominous. So I think overall the movie just is kind of creepy. And I watched it enough around Halloween that it just stuck in my mind. And it's one of those things that just kind of sets the tone for October for me. As well as the first one, but the second one does just a little bit stronger. Because there's not as much, like, world building. First one feels more like a Christmas movie.
There is one scene at Christmas time. It always bothers me so
like
much that they
movie.
had it in the 25 Days of Christmas. It hurt me in my Christmassy soul. So, synopsis, Harry Potter does some Harry Potter stuff. Everyone saw these movies, right?
Yeah, you know. It's fine.
It's got wizards and wizard
witches.
sticks and
Don't say wizard sticks. So what is your number 8? What do you got for me?
My number 8 is Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods.
Basically, you're not sure what monster movie you want to watch. You're like, oh no, You know, I could watch a movie with a werewolf in it, could watch a movie with, you know, a ghost in it, could watch a movie with a spooky mermaid in it, could watch a movie with a teeth-filled ballerina in it, or you could just watch Cabin in the Woods, and you'll just get all of it in it.
Every single monster.
Every single one. Just watch this movie. It's kind of a surreal, satirical take on horror movies. And you know what? This is finally one on my list that I know you've seen.
I have. I was not introduced to it until last year.
It's tragic.
I know. Oh, I know. So it didn't quite make my list. But I fully understand and respect that it's on yours.
With our friend of the show, directorial debut for him, Drew Goddard.
Drew Goddard, friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Love you, Drew. What's up? So yeah, why don't you? So beyond the monsters, what makes it feel like a Halloween movie to you?
Well, you know, it's mostly the monsters, if we're all being honest. But you know, you kind of get a little more spooky than scary because there's all the lighthearted fun that comes with being a more satirical take. You have nice light office humor in there.
Yeah.
You have kind of bordering on parody, like satire often is wont to do. Mm-hmm. For those that don't know, this movie is about a office-like organization that kind of tricks groups of archetypal young people into a cabin in the woods in order to have them murdered.
Yeah.
One by one.
Yeah.
In the fashion of an American horror movie.
Isn't it like the grander goal of this is to appease some higher power?
Yeah, it's kind of hinted at throughout.
So
at the end, you're given a little funding. Little more details, but
yeah.
And it just, you know, you have so many monsters, spooky monsters.
You do love your spooky monsters.
I do love spooky monsters. And there's a great scene, for those that don't know, where you just see all the monsters come by while someone is a nice little safe glass room watching the monsters go by and eat other people.
It's like a parade.
Yeah.
It's quite nice.
A little monster parade.
Yeah.
And if anything is spooky, it's a monster parade.
I guess, yeah.
So moving on to your number
7.
Your number
my
7.
number 7, I think, is a better, more real answer than my number 8.
Good.
Edward Scissorhands.
You know what's weird? That's another one that would make it into like the Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Because there's a big Christmas section in there.
Oh yeah, but I think overall it feels a lot more like a Halloween movie. I think it's just got the visuals to back it up with the whole character of Edward Scissorhands.
So because this movie is so weird, I want to hear what your synopsis is. I want to hear you give a little taste so people want to see this movie.
All right. I'm not even going to look online for this, folks. I'm going to just spit it straight. So, Johnny Depp, true to form, plays a disturbed young man who's been experimented on his whole life, and now has knives for hands, scissors for hands.
I think he's more created, right? He's not really experimented on. He's slowly created. And the last thing
is it more like a Frankenstein thing?
Yeah,
where he's, like,
the last thing he's gonna get is real hands. But for some reason, until then, there's a much more complicated scissors contraption for hands.
See, my synopsis, while it may be incorrect, makes more sense. So I'm going to continue to believe mine.
Sure.
Until I watch the movie
But we
again.
even get the scientist that makes him, his loving father figure.
I guess.
At the beginning, with Vincent Price in one of his last roles.
Oh. But yes, young boy comes to have scissor hands through some means.
I see why there would be confusion, though, so that's not a complaint.
And is taken in by a very upper middle class white bread family, one of which being Winona Ryder. and Winona.
You can't spell spooky without Winona Ryder.
That's super true. Winona and Johnny Depp's character fall in love because she's nice and pretty and he's sad. And as we all know, that's how romance works. And I mean, other stuff happens. Like, he's a social outcast who is shunned by the community and then welcomed into the community after he proves himself through, like, trimming hedges into impressive shapes and cutting women's hair into more impressive shapes. But at the end, he starts to be seen as like a threat to their very conventional, safe way of life. He has to go run away and leave Winona to lead the life she's destined to lead. As an upper middle class white bread woman, as an uptown girl. But yeah,
that is what Billy Joel was writing about.
Winona
Men with
Ryder.
Scissors for hands.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, super spooky. Still gives you that. I think teen drama is like inseparable from Halloween. Maybe that's just how society has painted it, but like teen drama and Halloween go together like pumpkin pie and whipped cream.
Like razor blades and candy bars.
Very much so. Very much so. This guy knows.
What's cool is this is made by one of probably the spookiest directors, Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, yeah.
Because you've got Dark Shadows, you've got Beetlejuice, you've got just looking at him.
just trying to figure out the decisions he makes in his life.
Yeah, what a spooky guy.
Dude. Yeah.
Several other spooky movies as well in there.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, very much. Spooky film. Love watching it in October. It's not like my favorite film or anything. It took a while for me to come around to it, especially because my mom would turn it off whenever one of the like housewives started stripping.
that is a weird scene.
Yeah, oh yeah. Very bizarre.
Not too spooky.
Not too well, spooky in its own way.
Yeah. Spooky
in the way puberty often is, as Edward has to go through puberty very suddenly and without warning.
He got genitals before he got the scissor hands. I think that really shows the priority before he got real hands.
Yeah.
That really shows the priority on that scientist.
I don't know if I want to go deeper into that conversation, man.
No, I'm just saying that's what shows what he thinks is important.
But yeah, that's Edward Scissorhands. Classic film discussing society's priorities about the various limbs and added body parts of the human body. Classic commentary. What do you got?
Well, my number 7 pick is House on Haunted Hill.
I was waiting for that, especially when you said Vincent Price. I was wondering when that was going to come in.
Yeah, it's a nice little throughway from yours. Totally unplanned. But really, what epitomizes spooky better than a scary skeleton? I don't think anything.
Nothing.
Yeah, they're spooky, they're scary, they're skeletons. And they're in House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah, they are.
I even heard during its theatrical run, 1959, that they would drop skeletons on strings from, like, the ceilings of movie theaters just in front of people. And it sounds like a good time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But you know, I've just always loved Vincent Price ever since the old episodes of the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, where he'd give his little intro every episode, be like, "Hey, Scooby and Shaggy, go get some ghosts," and they'd say, "Okay, Vincent Price," and they'd go on their way. Not to mention also his small section in Thriller, which I think everyone's heard since they were born.
Oh yeah.
Now. But really, he plays a really nice role in this. Equal parts charming and kind of a creepy asshole. As like a rich guy who just invites a bunch of strangers to spend the night in a haunted house. And whoever makes it through the night wins money.
Ooh.
Super fun, super spooky. Good time.
That is a good time. You introduced me to this movie as well. It's very fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
What's nice, too, is I think it really sets the tone from the beginning where you just kind of see people traveling to the spooky house, you see the house, and over all that is just kind of Vincent Price's head, just kind of faintly there, giving a little monologue about the whole ordeal.
Ooh.
And it's very campy, very fun.
Oh, yeah.
And you see dancing skeletons in it on occasion.
Nice.
And nothing spookier than that.
Nothing is quite as spooky. But you know it's also spooky? Skeletons who dance and sing and dress up like Santa Claus.
That sounds like more like a Christmas movie to me. If I were programming ABC's 25 Nights of Christmas, I would maybe put that in there as well.
Yeah, you know, I agree with that. But luckily for me and the programmers of ABC Family, we're talking about our freaky fave falls. So, it's Nightmare Before Christmas.
Whoa!
Whoa! Holy shit! Yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas. Classic shit. Great songs. Real spooky. Takes place in a world that's all about making Halloween scary. Discusses the woes of the Halloween hero of the town, Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King, and how he's looking for a change, how he wants to shake it up, how he wants to just be Santa. And then Santa gets just screwed over so bad. And hilarity ensues. It's just a staple, I think, for both Christmas and Halloween, but definitely Halloween.
There's that nice crossover appeal, like Gremlins.
Yeah, like Gremlins.
Spooky Christmas,
yeah, like,
I don't know.
I haven't seen Gremlins, so I'm gonna...
You break my heart.
Every day, man. Every day. But yeah, there's not much for me to say about Nightmare Before Christmas that I don't think's not been said. I'm having trouble with sentences today. It's all the spookiness. It's shaking my bones. But yeah, lots been said about Nightmare Before Christmas. I can't add much more to the conversation. It's just great. It's about Halloween. It's about Christmas. It's about the intersection of dreams and destiny. It's quite nice. I enjoy it.
Even if I wanted to disagree with you, there's a spooky, scary skeleton in it, and you know that qualifies it for the list.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Now, how many spooky skeletons are in your next pick? Your number 6.
Ooh, this is another one that's a little more on the scary side. Probably not too many skeletons. A lot of body parts, though.
A lot of body parts.
This being Jeepers Creepers.
Ah, shit. Jeepers Creepers is cool.
Jeepers Creepers is cool. So I will preface this by saying I do know the director himself is a big old creep.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, that does sadly kind of color my view on this movie. I still haven't seen the third one yet. I was planning on pirating it, which I never do. But you know, when you don't always want the money going to the creators, which is a rarity for me.
Yeah.
You just go on to the high seas and you pirate that.
Yeah, you do.
Put
on your eye patch, get your parrot.
I've heard it's not that good though, so I've not bothered yet. But you know, it does color that a little bit.
Yeah.
But I will say that even with all that, I can enjoy this as just a super fun original monster movie.
Yeah.
Because by like the 2000s, you don't have a lot of monsters left.
Yeah.
You could be like, oh, it's another giant monster with Cloverfield. But you're like, yeah, we had Godzilla already. Derivative.
Fuck you.
But Jeepers Creepers, not very derivative. You've got a crazy body parts collecting thing with a very spooky car. You have a little bit of comedy with Justin Long thrown in there. Very good at walking that line between scary and comedic, which we see in Tusk as well.
Yes, Tusk.
A spiritual sequel to Jeepers Creepers, I think. But
I don't think I can argue with you on that.
But when you're crafting a big scary mythology, it adds to that feel to me. You got a whole world to explore, and it's just a good time. You have the fun psychic character. You've got a little bit of an action scene in the police station that kind of lightens the mood a bit to keep it maybe not spookier than scary, but definitely tips the balance a bit.
Yeah, it keeps you on your toes. But on a much lighter note, my number 5, I'm going to be real with you about my number 5. I had something here, which I think I'll get to later on when we do some honorable mentions. And then you said Scooby-Doo, and I realized there was a movie way more deserving of this number 5 spot.
Whoa.
And it was Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Which, like...
What a shakeup.
Which was just, like, the inspiration for, like, my entire young adulthood so far. I am the woman I am today because of Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. It's like, it's a Halloween movie. They go to an autumn fest.
Oh, I'm not going to argue with you. This is a good pick.
This is a solid, just straight up Halloween movie. They go to an autumn fest in a creepy little town. Just a really great movie. Really spooky.
Another Tim Curry appearance.
Yeah. Good plot. Like, overall, like, they go to investigate, Oh, what are they even doing there? I don't even know what the hell they were doing there.
They get invited,
yeah.
By the local author, who is a Stephen King analog.
Their ancestor, is supposedly haunting the city. And I think that's actually true. It's one of those times...
Well, that part's a scam.
Yeah.
But then he summons the witch back as a ghost anyway.
Yeah, it's one of those times where, like, there's a monster. There's no mask to really pull off.
That, like, line of movies starting with Zombie Island and ending with Cyber Chase.
Yeah.
Great. Like,
amazing.
Best Scooby-Doo you could get.
Yeah. Witch's Ghost was absolutely my favorite.
Any one of those could have fit this list, I think.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I'm really into the Salem witch trials just as a piece of history. And this movie probably, like, gave me the foundation for that. Really into girl bands. I like that. That was a good introduction to, like, punky girl bands for me. Really into, like, the whole teen witch thing. Just, like, that's been my jam with, like, TV and movies forever. And so this, I always really liked watching this movie and watching, like, the like, good witch characters. I don't know, just, like, a really positive movie. Something that always makes me, think of Halloween. Something that was at every single October of my childhood.
Can't believe this didn't make my list. I think it's because I haven't seen this one in a really long time.
The Witch's Ghost?
Yeah, because
I've just seen it enough that it's burned into my brain.
That's a good point.
I still have, like, the song from it stuck in my head. Like, the ending song.
Yeah.
It's not a good song, but it's burned there forever.
It was always a toss-up between that one and Zombie Island for me.
You love your zombies.
I do. And there's more monsters than that in there. Even.
That's true. It's a very misleading title.
That's true. It's an island. There's zombies. There's ghosts. There's all kinds of other weird stuff. But, I've actually been able to see Zombie Island through recent years because I got a combo pack with it and Alien Invaders.
Oh, yeah.
Which that one's also pretty solid.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
But Witch's Ghost, good deep spooky cut.
Deep tracks.
Deep tracks Scooby-Doo.
Well, cool. So I won by having the best movie on my list. But what's your number 5?
But we've got so many movies left.
I think I won.
Oh. So my number 5.
Yeah.
Continues my theme a little bit, despite me setting the mood of being a little scarier than spooky. And this movie is Saw.
Shit. That's a good pick.
Yeah, it's It's definitely more scary than spooky, but I can't help but always think of it around Halloween time. Because they did that thing where they would just release one, like, every Halloween for a stretch of years.
That'll get you.
That'll get you. And when I first got to see the first movie was when they re-released it after basically the series arc. I know they're trying to bring more back with some more movies.
Yeah.
But they re-released it one Halloween. I went to see it in theaters. Really liked it. I grabbed a little poster that now hangs up in my apartment that says, if it's Halloween, it must be Saw. And I think that's just kind of burned into my brain. I'm like, you're right. Every year Saw. Saw
year.
1, Saw 2, Saw 3, Saw 4, Saw 5.
Saw
Jigsaw.
2020.
Someday, probably.
Oh boy.
But, if it's Halloween, it must be Saw.
Must be Saw.
So, made my list. If you want to hear more of our thoughts on Saw, we have a whole episode on it.
We do.
Alix is also on there.
Did you see Saw?
Did you? But anyway, good movie. It's a little lighthearted in parts, at least in the style of it. Maybe not in the substance.
Forced to cut off their limbs. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is more scary than spooky.
Yeah, no,
but I can't help it.
A gore fest, but that's okay. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's Halloween. It's Saw.
Halloween. People get Saws just in their candy. Saw is Halloween.
It's true.
Yeah.
Sad tales.
Every kid grows up opening up a candy bar, taking a bite, and all of a sudden there's just a Saw in the middle of your candy bar.
Yeah.
It's like the sadder version of a Wonka golden ticket. So off of that nostalgia.
Yeah, let's go with your next pick.
So my next pick, I really like. I feel very strongly about this. My top 4, I guess 5 now, yeah. I feel really strong about.
And this is your number 4?
My number 4 being The Addams Family.
Interesting.
Not Addams Family Values. As that one is definitely like a weird summer blockbuster feel.
So I don't know if now's the time to tell you, and this is entirely unplanned, but my number 4 is also Addams Family.
What the fuck?
That's weird.
How?
Well, you see, they're creepy, they're kooky, they're mysterious, they're spooky, and fitting with the theme. One could say they're altogether ooky. They're the Addams Family.
That they are. So let's talk. Let's discuss.
Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd coming in.
Spooky.
Super spooky.
Raul Julia. Spooky.
Super spooky.
Between this and Street Fighter, so spooky.
I'm blanking on her name, but Wednesday? Christina Ricci?
Yeah.
Super fucking spooky.
That's true.
My idol, just as Wednesday the character. Really great movie. Really dark. Really goth. Really emo. Very Halloween. I like it. I'm into it.
Yeah, you can't really argue with October, Halloween, Addams Family. They live every day
as if it's Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
That's what they do. It's what they are. If it's Halloween, it must be the Addams Family.
If it's the Addams Family, it must be Halloween. I think that's more fitting even.
But yeah, good. High five.
There we go.
Look at that, number 4, all packed away.
So you get to say another one because
yes.
I gave my number 4.
Perfect. My number 3, I also feel very strongly about. Taking it back, maybe the oldest movie on my list.
Is it Hickson?
It's not Hickson. Hickson should be on no one's list for anything.
It's very spooky.
I guess. It is not Hickson. It is Young Frankenstein.
Ooh.
As my number 3. Young Frankenstein is dope as hell. It is a great film starring
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder, who is and was, sadly, R.I.P., an alumni of the University of Iowa, where we got and are getting useless degrees from. Amazing. But yeah, great movie. A lot of spooky German accents. A lot of spooky German castles. Frankenstein's in it. Dr. Frankenstein is in it. There's love. There's loss. There's drama. There's comedy.
There's a dance number.
There is a dance number. It's wild. You know what I'm realizing? There's
What's
a
that?
movie that should have definitely been on this list that isn't here, and I'm going to mention it later, and I'm so disappointed in myself.
Happens.
I'm so disappointed. I don't know why.
That's what's bad about top 10 lists. There's
It
only
is.
10.
I can't believe I left this out. I wish I could go back and, like, probably take, like, Edward Scissorhands off this list and just put this movie in instead, but at a much higher ranking. Oh boy, I've made a mistake. But not with Young Frankenstein. Great movie. Great, creepy, spooky, fun movie.
You've got Peter Boyle,
yes.
as most people know from being the dad on Everybody Loves
Is that
Raymond.
really what most people know him as?
What else would they know
I
him
don't
as?
know.
As the Frankenstein monster
I don't
in
know,
Young Frankenstein?
man. It just feels so, like, domesticated. It's so weird.
You know, he's great in both.
He is. He's really great in both. Also, R.I.P. A lot of dead people in this movie. It's old. It's what happens.
That's true. Mel Brooks outliving them all. It's crazy.
Oh, damn. But yeah, that's my number 3.
Yeah, should we tell them, Young Frankenstein? Gene Wilder is a distant relative
Oh, yeah.
of...
I guess not everyone's probably seen this.
They should.
They should, yeah. Fuck you if you haven't seen this. It's amazing. Go see it.
Gene Wilder, a distant relative of the big Dr. Frankenstein, is sent over to get his inheritance of the castle and all the things therein from America. He goes over to the old country.
The old country.
By train.
Yeah.
Across that ocean.
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's alright.
And he ends up wrapped up in the whole monster-making ordeal himself.
Yeah, it's super weird. Super great. Great character arcs.
What's super cool, not to dwell on this pick, but the actual lab set is the real lab set used in the original Frankenstein movie. Because Mel Brooks just contacted the guy that designed it, and he was like, oh yeah, they were going to throw this out, so I just, saved it. You want to use it in the movie?
Damn.
It's like, yeah, I do.
Amazing.
Right?
Iconic. That is my number 3. What you got? What's your number 3?
My number 3, you super need to see, and I bet if you did, it'd be on your list. This being the Monster Squad.
Monster Squad. You just saw Monster Squad in a really cool setting.
That's true. I saw it at this great theater in Burlington, the Capitol Theater.
Burlington, Iowa, not Burlington, Vermont.
I didn't even know there was a Burlington, Vermont.
There is a Burlington,
Is that
Vermont.
like the coat factory?
I don't know. I believe it.
One of these
Vermont
Burlingtons
seems like
has to be the coat factory.
Vermont seems like a coat factory kind of state.
It does get chilly there.
Yes, it does. But yes, in Burlington, Iowa.
In
Great
Burlington,
theater.
Iowa, there's a theater. It brings in a lot of cool traveling film type shows.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff. And this time it brought in a double feature of Monster Squad and a making of type documentary, not just making of, also kind of legacy thereof, called Wolfman's Got Nards. And introducing that film and doing a nice little Q&A is the director of that documentary, the star of Monster Squad, Andre Gower.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a really good time.
But you've loved this movie before that
I
event.
have loved this movie before. I actually got the t-shirt first. It's a nice little poster for the movie, and it says, you know who to call when you have ghosts. Who do you call when you have monsters?
Monster Squad.
Monster Squad.
Spoiler alert.
First the shirt, then I saw the movie, was glad I had the shirt.
Yeah.
It's a really good, super fun movie.
Yeah.
And like Cabin in the Woods, if you can't decide what monster you want to watch, this has several of them for you.
You can just watch all of them.
Yeah, you've got
Yeah.
Dracula, you've got Frankenstein, you've got the Mummy, you've got a creature from the Black Lagoon. You're just set. And these young kids have to fight these monsters, save the universe, and have a nice 80s riding your bike around time.
Perfect movie.
Perfect movie. It's a really good time. If you haven't seen it, it at least used to be on Netflix. I don't know if it still is. I've got a nice DVD copy myself.
Hit up your local Family Video. Check out Monster Squad.
It
Hit
might
up
be
your
at your local library
where you can get it for free.
PSA, go to your library, get movies.
Yeah. They are less likely to randomly shut down. And you'll be less disappointed.
That's true.
Better atmosphere than Family Video as well. But yeah. Yeah, here we go.
You'll love it when you see it.
I think so. I think I will. I've been putting it off for a while just because you're very passionate about things and it puts a lot of pressure on me to like the things you like.
That's a good point.
I think I will like this one.
And you can't argue with a slogan like that.
I guess.
And you've got kids. It's not a crazy time. It's a nice spooky, a little bit scary time. Spooky.
Light spooky. Some light spookiness.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I will put that on my to watch soon-ish list.
There you go.
But my number 2, we're getting to the end of this list. We're getting up there. Anticipation is building. My number 2 is Hocus Pocus.
You know, another not too shocking pick.
No, I think it's been revealed in
on
this
our
episode.
millennial life.
Yeah. It's been revealed in this episode, I think, that I fucking love witches. I love magic. I think it's great. I think movies with witches and magic are usually great. There are exceptions. Hocus Pocus is not one of them. Hocus Pocus is great.
It just got a nice new re-release, too.
Yeah.
Because it's the 25th anniversary.
Steelbook, right?
If you can find it.
Yeah, Steelbook, Hocus Pocus. What a goal. What a dream.
People bought that stuff right off.
Yeah, they did.
Swarmed the Best Buy.
I'm sure that's actually what happened. Our generation is obsessed with that movie. Our, age group, within 5 years of both of our ages, is obsessed with that movie.
It's hard to blame them. You've got a really, really solid flick.
I will say I wrote down, short little notes about each of these movies. Why is this on this list? And this one simply says, a fucking legend. Halloween Witches Curses. Which I think is all you need to know. Bunch of spooky old ladies pretend to be hot young women. And try to cause some chaos. Young man in high school, I think, is our protagonist. Trying to express his feelings for this girl in this new town that he's moved to, but instead gets wrapped up in trying to save the town from these old ladies masquerading as hot young women. Good movie. Great movie. Talks about virginity, which is, fitting, but also weird for a movie that I watched in school, 6 years in a row.
You've got your theme of teen angst in there.
Yeah, I think that you can't... If it's Halloween, it must be teen angst. If it's teen angst, it's every fucking day. But yeah, I love Hocus Pocus so much. It's just goofy and fun, and I think stands the test of time. It hits you with the nostalgia every time. Reminds you of a simpler time. But yeah, let me in on what your number 2 is.
My number 2 is a film you already mentioned.
Yeah.
Much higher on my list than yours, though.
Yeah.
It's Halloween.
Halloween?
If it's Halloween, it must be
Halloween!
Come on.
Hell yeah!
It's fall. You've got your palm trees. You've got your ocean breezes. It's fall.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to say about this now that we're here.
Well, I'll say a little.
Yeah.
Super excited for the new Halloween.
Yes, very
much. Gonna be a great
so.
time. We've mentioned that on our best of 2018 so far episode.
Another throwback to that episode.
Another throwback, another plug for the very podcast you're listening to.
Heck yeah.
And it's just quintessential. It
is.
I hate to throw that around, but it is.
But
it's
like,
Halloween.
When your movie shares the name of a holiday and like perfectly encapsulates the feeling of that holiday, it's quintessential. That's what it does.
The big kickstart to the slasher genre.
The kickstart to the 80s slasher films is what it really is.
There you go.
Came out in 78. That's why the 80s were filled with all those slasher films. There you go.
There you go. Full circle.
Full circle. Loving it.
Yeah, you've got trick-or-treating. You've got kids dressed up. It's probably a little scarier than spooky, I'll admit.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But, you know, it perfectly fits the season because it is the season. It's Halloween.
Exactly.
It takes place on Halloween.
I want to know how many times... I want to count of how many times in the past minute you said, because it's Halloween.
It's Halloween.
It is Halloween.
Sometimes I've meant the holiday, sometimes I've meant the movie.
We'll never know.
So Halloween's my number 2. You apparently have something that fits a little better, because Halloween was nowhere near number 2 on your list.
No.
Shame.
Shame.
But before we get to that, we're gonna throw it back to a little word from our podcast pals over at the Prescribed Films Podcast Network.
Prescribed Films.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
And welcome back. See, we've got that nice little teaser there, making you wait to hear what our number 1s are.
Anticipation.
Yeah, you ever see The Bachelor? It's why there's like 5 commercials before you get to see who The Bachelor is.
MasterChef, same thing.
Same thing. Our things as good as MasterChef food.
Yes. Yeah.
Our picks.
Beautiful. It's great.
Don't make me regret it. What's your number 1?
My number 1, and I'm going to add something onto this here. The number 1 I have written down, which I think is a good pick, is It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I've been watching this goddamn movie my whole life, and I've never gotten tired of it.
That's the most wholesome pick one could have.
And I love that you said that, because I'm going to follow that by saying what I think, truly in my heart, is my true number 1, which I wasn't reminded of until you mentioned the dance number in Young Frankenstein, is Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Rocky Horror Picture Show almost made my list. It definitely was in my honorable mention.
I didn't even remember it, which I'm ashamed of, but I have been obsessed with this movie for years. I've seen it in the comfort of my own house, my own room. I've seen it in the comfort of others' rooms and houses, and I've seen it on the big screen live with people yelling slut collectively in a very alarming but also funny way, I guess. I love Rocky Horror Picture Show so much, and I'm so sad that I forgot to put it on my list. But
it's a nice dichotomy there. You've got wholesome, you've got not wholesome.
I would super double feature It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, and Rocky Horror Picture Show. I would definitely double feature that, because It's the Great Pumpkin is such a good film. It really is. I'll call it a film. It's a great film. It just, I don't even say this sarcastically. It provides a nice commentary about the holiday season, as many of the Charlie Brown cartoons do, because comics, that's kind of their shtick. But it's really great. It's really fun. A lot of fond memories with this. My mom would, like, make sure everyone was at home on the night it would be playing on TV, because that's how that worked when I was little, was you had to look at the TV guide and figure out when The Great Pumpkin was going to be on and what channel, and make sure you were looking at the right time zone, and make sure everyone was going to be home, eat dinner, and then watch It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown as a family. We did this at every single holiday for years. Everyone had to be home. No one was allowed to go out and hang out with their friends on, like, Charlie Brown night. My mom was super passionate about it. But for that reason, like, it's my number one. One of my number ones. Just a really great movie. Very heartwarming. Very, the word you used.
Wholesome.
Wholesome. Very wholesome. Countered by the always irreverent and original, also Tim Curry, coming back in here.
Spooky guy.
Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is amazing. Again, monsters, weirdness, sex, angst, everything associated with Halloween, murder. It's amazing.
Rocky Horror Picture Show does hold a special place in my heart. Mm-hmm. As a local to my hometown, Halloween-a-Palooza, put on by some of the great folks over at the Attack of the Killer podcast.
Heck yeah.
Just every year would have a midnight showing of Rocky Horror Picture Show, where you would yell slut, you would yell asshole, you would throw toilet paper, you would just have a grand old time.
Yeah.
And you know, it does fit in with the nice holiday spirit.
Yeah.
It didn't occur to me to add it, admittedly. And it probably should have made it somewhere on the list.
I felt that an honorable mention wasn't good enough. I wanted to share the spotlight with Charlie Brown.
I understand. I don't know if spooky is quite what I would maybe say, but it's not scary.
Tim Curry's a little spooky.
He's a little spooky.
He's a little spooky.
I don't know. It's in its own little world for me, so I don't think it quite
it's fantastical.
Occurred to me to add it.
Yeah. But yeah, those are my number ones.
There you go.
As I'm a cheater and don't play by the rules. What's your number one?
My number one, like the previous film, takes place on Halloween. Which, extra bonus points if it takes place on the holiday.
There you go.
It's Trick or Treat.
I was waiting for this. I'm so happy it's on your list, because I kept it off of mine, because I knew you were going to cover it, and I knew it would actually make sense on your list.
It's the only thing that, for me, would feel more Halloween than Halloween.
Yeah, yeah.
It covers all your bases. It's got your guy putting stuff that shouldn't be in candy, poison in the candy.
Yeah. Classic Halloween tradition.
It's got your classic scary story to tell all the kids with the arc with the bus drive. It's got people in slutty costumes with the story of those women looking for a date for their friend for the party.
So, for those in the audience that have not, experienced the joy of Trick or Treat, how would you describe Trick or Treat?
Trick or Treat is an anthology movie.
A series of vignettes.
Yeah, and it's nice because these all interconnect, unlike some
it's like Love Actually.
Anthology movies.
The Love Actually of Halloween.
Sure. Actually, Love Actually is the
Trick or Treat of
Christmas.
Christmas, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, kind of in the vein of Creep Show a bit, but a little more connected. Mm-hmm. And you have different little arcs, all kind of watched, sometimes participated in, by the mascot of this film, Sam the Pumpkin Kid.
Sam the Pumpkin Kid.
Who's just a little burlap sack-headed boy that romps around. He's adorable.
He's freaking
He's got
great.
a burlap sack head. He's adorable.
He's adorable. Dress your kids up in burlap sacks. They'll be adorable.
Please do. But he just kind of seems to encapsulate the spirit of Halloween thematically throughout these movies. It's a great time.
Yeah.
You've got people breaking pumpkins. You've got people putting up Halloween decorations, taking them down. You know, all the Halloween staples.
All the things you do on Halloween.
Yeah. There's also scary things in there too, but I don't want to spoil any of the vignettes.
Yeah, of course not. Of course not.
Super great movie.
Yeah.
One of the few things that could bump it. They keep teasing a sequel to come out ever since this movie came out. In Google won't tell me whether it's 2007 or 2009, and I saw it on home video, so I don't know.
Who knows?
One of the two.
Keep saying home video like you own this on VHS.
No, it's a DVD.
It's a digital video disc.
Home video.
Let's be real. Your home digital video disc.
Yes.
But you have already made some nods to some honorable mentions.
Let's
talk about some honorable mentions. Things that didn't quite make our list for one reason or another. What do you got?
For me, one of the key things that was a reason they didn't make my list, and I know this is all about movies, but I had some TV shows.
Yeah.
That kind of sprung to mind.
Yeah.
As stuff that especially would be pertinent during the spooky season.
Yeah.
One of which, Stranger Things.
Obviously. Yeah.
Definitely comes to mind.
Very spooky. Winona Ryder has to be spooky.
There you go. But that's a big one for me.
Yeah.
Watch it around Halloween time if you can. I know it comes out not during Halloween all the time, but
not during Halloween.
You know, it's a great show. Everyone knows this show.
Everyone knows it's a great show. Go watch it. It's great. I had, in the vein of TV shows, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Another spooky, not scary.
Yeah. Well, depends on the episode.
That's true. A lot of the action kind of undermines the scary in order to make it spooky.
There are a few that are like really a little like disturbing, but not overly so. Not to say I don't watch Buffy like all year, every month of the year. But Halloween's just a good time for it. Like, it's a show inspired by horror films. It's a show that completely focuses around monsters and magic and how people in the real world deal with that. And they have some really good Halloween episodes, including one where people just like turn into their costumes, which I think is great, is brilliant. I love that. But yeah, again, spooky show, has all the stuff I've already said I like. Teen angst and drama and sex and witches and magic. I'm a deviant is what's coming out in this episode. Sorry, Mom. Yeah, Buffy. Like, no question about it. Halloween TV show.
One I'm surprised that you didn't bring up that sprung to mind for me was Sabrina the Teenage Witch. She's a teen witch.
She is a teen witch.
You're about the teen witches.
I am about the teen witches.
She's certainly not scary.
I've watched Buffy more, is the thing, I think.
That's a good point. There's
but
a new Sabrina
has her place.
on Netflix that I hear is supposed to be scarier than spooky.
Ooh.
I don't know. Ooh. Gonna give it a shot.
Yeah, I think that's all I have for TV shows. What do you have for movies? What are you thinking for honorable movie mentions, and why didn't they make it?
There's just so many movies, man.
There are so many movies. I think you as a person are a testament to that, owning over 1,000 movies.
That's true. Both a gift and a curse.
Yes.
Curse come moving day. A
yes.
gift when I want to watch a movie and the internet's down.
Yeah.
But this was a hard list to narrow down these few picks. One that barely didn't make the cut for me. Might have done the same for you. Beetlejuice.
I actually haven't watched Beetlejuice all the way through.
Oh my. You've got your boy Tim Burton.
I know, but I think I watched it at the wrong time, and I think the introduction to the character Beetlejuice was just like too over the top for me at the time I watched. I was like, I can't do this. And I just changed the channel. But I've heard it's a great movie. I think it's more on me than the movie that I don't like it.
More people like it than dislike it, I'm sure.
I'm sure, yeah. It seems to be revered as a classic. So why didn't it quite make it for you?
You know, if it was 11, it probably would have been number 11 for me.
Number 11. All right.
But you know, it's hard to knock off some of these other movies, and you know, I don't find myself watching it as often lately than maybe I did as a kid. Definitely on those 13 nights of Halloween, though.
I'm sorry that my list was so unofficial. But what I bumped for Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost was Coraline.
Interesting. Very fitting with the Nightmare Before Christmas on the list.
Yeah. There's something about claymation and things like claymation that's just really freaking spooky. And the whole movie is spooky and scary. Like, this girl, like, is dissatisfied with her life and stumbles into this world where you have buttons for eyes, and this, like, controlling, horrible mother figure tries to sew buttons on her face, and cats are talking. It's fucking crazy, man. It's a wild movie. Tackles some very dark, real subject matter. But it feels very Halloween-y, and I think, like, for that reason, like, a lot of movies that fit with Halloween, I think, tackle that dark subject matter, but do it in ways that are entertaining to watch. 'Cause that's, like, what Halloween is, you know? It's like dressing up as the things that scare you, or dressing up as the things that you like, in order to kind of, you know, deal with the spookiness.
You know, I'm going to use that to springboard into one of my honorable mentions.
I'm sure you will.
Especially because they're both animated. This being Monster House.
Yeah. Monster House was a movie.
About a monstrous house. A haunted, possessed house. Takes place during Halloween time, too.
Not an awful movie. It's
No,
just
it's
not a
really
movie.
not.
It's not a movie I think about.
No,
ever.
that's why it didn't make my list, too. I went, you know, I've only seen this a couple times. Because I never think to put it on.
But yeah, I think I'm out of honorable mentions unless you remind me of something.
Just a few little things that could have made the list. Technically, Donnie Darko takes place during Halloween time. It's a costume party that kind of happens at the end.
You're gonna have a rough time if you watch Donnie Darko at Halloween every year.
See, that's why it didn't make it on my list. I was like, you know, it's not Halloween-y.
I think we know people who I would expect that from.
That's fair. That's a good point. But you also could have had Ghostbusters. That's another movie.
I haven't seen
More spooky than
Ghostbusters,
scary.
really, in its entirety.
You break my heart every day.
I know, every damn day.
Another more wholesome film. You've got Casper.
I did think about Casper, and it's fine. I don't have bad feelings about Casper at all.
You also have another Christina Ricci in there, too.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Casper. You could add in later on when he meets Wendy, Hilary Duff.
Yeah. Casper and Wendy. Classic Hilary Duff role.
It's
Career-defining role.
A young witch.
A young witch, yeah.
But I think that's all I really want to throw out there.
Want to touch on? Yeah.
If you've got any that you can think of out there, audience, that we didn't touch on, some spookier than scary films, you can hit us up on Facebook, let us know, or Instagram, or whatever.
Yeah, well, mainly Facebook and Instagram.
Mainly Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, that is where you'll find us.
Yeah, there's an iTunes comment section.
Podbean comment section.
Yeah, just, you know, wherever podcasts are given out freely.
Yeah, wherever you're listening to us and thinking, hold on, you forgot the perfect Halloween movie, go ahead and make a comment. Let us know. Correct us.
But yeah, you let us know on there. You can, like us on Facebook if you want.
Yeah, you can
follow
us
on Instagram.
Yeah.
You can follow us in the streets if you super need.
If you somehow find us, like, props to you, I guess.
There you go. It'd be a spooky time for us. Yeah. Very fitting with the episode.
Good on you, true fan.
But anyway, thank you, Alex, for being on the show.
Sure.
And hope your holiday season is nice and spooky.
Same to you, friend.